Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to be discussing this unfortunate lesson a lot of highly sensitive people are taught in childhood. What happens when we learn this lesson and how to reclaim the truth of our emotions. Watch this video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, please click the little subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications when I release new videos. And if you've been with me for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. Before we begin, I want to just mention that I just uploaded the new video and homework and tools if you're a Patreon member. If you're not and you wish to be, please click this link right here. So let's dive in. So today I want to talk about this unfortunate lesson a lot of highly sensitive people learn in childhood. How to break this down. We know that a lot of empaths and highly sensitive people become codependent because we are taught to not trust what we feel. And this is really difficult, but what happens is we are taught that we're either too sensitive, dramatic, overreacting, and this makes us, it's gaslighting, and it makes us stop trusting what we feel and thinking there's something wrong with us and making ourselves wrong. This pushes many of us into codependency, which is perfectionism, pleasing others, and living from outside of ourselves because we've learned to abandon ourselves in order to be safe at home. And I hate saying that because most parents don't know they're doing that. They just think they're teaching you how to regulate or manage emotions, but in fact, it teaches us how to not regulate emotions because now we don't have an emotional mirror or an emotional outlet to be able to anchor in the truth of what our inner guidance is telling us. So what happens with a lot of highly sensitive people is we learn that if I honor or own my needs and my emotional truth, I won't be safe. I'll be abandoned, and worse yet, I'll be alone. This is also why we go into codependency, because we're afraid if we are enough on our own and we are totally dependent, like we are in childhood when we're saying our emotional truth, we get left or punished or rejected or abandoned. And I know this might seem harsh, but this is truth, right? And if you're watching this video and you're nodding your head, I've been there. I get it, right? So here's the reality. We decide early on that I have to doubt what I feel so that I can have security and be safe. That is a fundamental human need. We all have it. We all need it. It does not go away. But unfortunately, we also learn that being in myself is not safe. I need other. So whole lot of attachment things going on here, right? So when this happens, clients will come to me and they feel guilty for putting themselves first. They don't even know what it feels like to put themselves first. They feel like their whole point is to make sure the other is okay so that they can feel okay. Emotional codependency, energetic codependency and emotional. And what I've learned from my own experience is there are many levels of dependency that we have to break through, and it feels like death, by the way. It feels terrible. I've been there. But there are many different levels. We have to break through mentally, trusting your own perception. We have to break through spiritually, finding God within and what resonates with you. We have to break through intellectually. My thoughts are in alignment with what I feel. Emotionally, my actions, my aligned actions are in alignment with what I feel, regardless of other people like it or not. So we have to really, financially too, my finances are based on me, not somebody else. These things make us dependent, which makes us feel false safe. For me in my own journey, it was very, very scary and hard to break free from each one of these things. But what I learned as I did, the more conscious I became and the more inner work I did, I didn't have a choice because you can't mess with yourself anymore. Now you know. You're like, okay, I'm not getting a fulfilled life, but I have a safe life. And so many of us get mad at ourselves, and you know this is true, because we know that we are foregoing our dreams in some way for this ideal version that feels safe and secure, but it's not the one that we've created. It's not the one that we're called to. It's enough, but it's not who we are. And after enough of that, you're like, enough is enough. But what happens ultimately is we start to shed these things little by little, even though we fight it. Because we don't want to lie to ourselves anymore. We don't want to abandon ourselves anymore. And we know that we're starting to really love ourselves. And so what we need to understand is that as we break free, and this is really important, as we break free from these dependencies, I'm going to guarantee that the emotional dependency is the last one on your list because it's the most original wounded one. It's the one that you were taught in childhood that if you own your emotional truth, you ain't going to be attached to by mommy or daddy because we disagree. So this is the scariest part because we think if I don't need someone emotionally, I'm going to have nobody. And everybody's biggest fear is to be alone. Let's be real. But we're never alone. What ultimately happens too is we realize if I don't get emotionally sovereign, I'm lonely because I'm detached from self. Hello. And when we start to learn that it's safe and okay to put ourselves first, what we start to do is we drop all these bullshit patterns of self-sabotage and all the other things because we need to stay low so we stay connected. You've seen my videos probably on the upper limits issue. If not, you can check those out. Just Google it, put it in a little bar. I think it's called upper limits issue. Yeah. But the truth is we don't need an upper limits issue when we trust our emotional truth. We're so afraid to line up with our power, which is our inner guidance, because we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be left. But what we have done is we've left ourselves over and over and over again when we're dependent on another. And so this is the thing, you guys, that last piece of the puzzle. I mean, we can do things to get financially independent and mentally dependent. We start, doing the inner work, but also building up our life and making sure that we are safe on our own, which is scary in itself for some people. But the emotional piece is super brutal. And I want to just walk you through it a little bit because we feel that these trauma bonds, and it's also going to be a toxic relationship and a trauma bond if there's dependency. Period. Because that doesn't mean there's a whole person and a whole person and now we're abundant and combined. It means there's a need that's connecting us and that's always going to make us have power struggles. So, and that feels safe to some people because that's what they're used to, right? It's their emotional bottom line, their emotional imprint. But we have to go beyond that when we start to heal and grow and become conscious. And what we have to choose instead is I know that I'm going to trust that I can trust myself even though I don't feel like I can. And we have to be in that mourning and that grieving of not needing another, but really needing self and something higher, right? Because when we need another, we're telling ourselves that someone else is more safe than we are. And what I've learned in my own journey is that when you finally detach emotionally and you start attaching to yourself emotionally and God, you start getting really clear on how your feelings have always been accurate. And you've denied your truth to stay safe, to stay tethered to another. And when you own your truth, you may not be tethered to another, but now you're tethered to you and your true path. And I know some of you aren't going to believe me right now, but I ask that you do. And if you need help with this journey, click the link below. It's called Emotional Rehab. My course has started now. So this is a community of people that go through this together because there are so many of us and you're not alone. You think you are, but you're not. And when you start to realize that I need to understand that not putting my own safety and security within myself first is actually the most insecure way to live. Your inner insecurity, you're insecure inside, insecurity. When you do find that safety and security inside, you start trusting what you feel and seeing that you've been right, and you don't need to compromise your emotional truth anymore for anything or anyone. But when you own it, you become super safe because now it's you and you've self-partnered completely. I can't tell you how that feels. You need to do it for yourself. And when you feel that safety and security in, guess what? You're secure. You're confident in a way that cannot be messed with conditions because your safety is not outside of you anymore. And to live completely unconditional is to know you've got everything you need within you. It was taken from you when you were young, and it's always been waiting for you to reclaim. So I hope this message serves you well. If there's at least one person you think you can share this with that it could help, please do. All my links for coaching and everything else are below. I've got free ebooks and stuff below, everything for you to understand this truth and deepen it for yourself. I love you guys. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon.